Hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming, and this is another Snap Judgement review. What's a Snap Judgement review? If you've never listened before, well, I think that most game reviewers nowadays get caught up with the fact that they have to actually review for 100% or near completion on any game. It allows them to forget what a game felt like right off the bat or right in the beginning few hours. So I do about 5 to 10 hours with the games that I review. And I'm just trying to give you an idea whether you're going to enjoy it right off the bat or not. That coupled with the fact that I think games are one of the most subjective forms of art, I am not going to give scores. Instead, I will be telling you what the overview of the game is, and then a list of the pros and the cons in my point of view as all reviews are. Then, I'll be telling you whether I will be sticking with the game outside the purposes of this video. So, what am I reviewing today? I am reviewing third-person Games as a Service Fighter Warhaven. So what is Warhaven? Warhaven is, I think it's up to 12v12 third-person fighter, kind of in your vein of For Honor or Naraka Blade Point. In fact, if I had to make a comparison, I would say you have your very arcadey, very fast-paced, over-the-top style of Naraka, whereas you have a much more methodic and thought-out kind of parry-heavy game of For Honor. But this finds itself somewhere in the middle. It's got a lot of the arcadiness and some of the microtransaction bullshit from Naraka, but it's also got a lot of methodical thought processes in its fights. You couple that with a lot of chaos on the battlefield. So, as far as story goes, I couldn't fucking tell you what this story is about. It's all over the place. And I don't really mind that because, in fairness, this is just a vehicle to have a bunch of people fight. It really looks like the developers of this threw out any idea of a coherent storyline and instead decided, does it look cool? Yeah. Put it in the game. There are tanks that just sit in the battlefield, but for some reason everybody's fighting with medieval weaponry, with the exception of the Bard, who uses an air guitar that is in no way, shape, or form connected to an amp. It's stuff like this that just makes it kind of interesting. It really is just kind of like somebody was like, what's cool? And then somebody else was like, how do we explain that? And the person who asked it in first place was like, who the fuck cares? Put it in there. And they did. And that's what it is. Warhaven is just that. It is a haven for war. You pick your class, you go in, you fight people. That's how it works. I mean, not a whole lot else to say. There's a lot of different game modes that you can randomly get sparsed into. They're either 12v12 or 6v12. The 12v12 have all sorts of different battle modes, from an Overwatch style escort the thing from point A to point B while stopping other people, to a domination, to a capture the flag. Your 6v6 is usually death matches, but even that can be kind of interesting. And then there's a lot of stuff around the battlefield that you can interact with. A lot of cannons and spikes and aerial bombardments and all sorts of weird stuff. So yeah, I mean, that's the game. You go in, you launch into one of these matches, you fight the match as best as possible, and then you come out and you collect your just rewards. It is free to play, 100%, but it has a lot of microtransactions, which we're going to get into. So I'm not even going to waste time talking about the overview anymore. I mean, this is what this is. It is a third-person fighter, right in the vein of Naraka and For Honor. You've got a a horizontal slash, and a vertical slash. You've got defensive maneuvers. But what's interesting about this, which we're going to get into, is the unique. All the characters feel different anyway. They all fight very differently. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Pros, cons. Pros first, as usual. I like to go positive. I'm going to say right now, with all the microtransaction bullshit that I am going to complain about in the cons, it is very easy to get the locked characters. I was actually kind of surprised how easy, to the point where I didn't realize the easy thing I had to do it. One character you unlock right off the bat after you do the first 5 like challenge missions that are super easy. They're like hit a person, defend against a person, yada yada yada. You unlock them to play. Then the other 2 characters One is Claw, one is the Bard. Basically, you click onto them, you press A on their acquisition, which is win 5 games, be on the winning side 5 times, and then bam, that character's yours. That's really nice. Really like that. In a world where usually you have to grind out currency or spend real world money to get the characters, it's nice to be able to get the characters without having to do all of that bullshit. And speaking of the characters, brings me to the next pro. And that is the unique fighting styles that go into these characters. I've got to be honest, I've played a lot of these games. I like these games. These are very me type of games. Naraka, For Honor. I love those kind of games. This one is the most unique when it comes to character selection, because every one of these you have either a character or a class archetype that you're playing. And then that character or class archetype has a certain fighting style. This one, same thing. However, they actually all feel different. With For Honor, they have classes. You know, they'll have the Vanguard, the whatever. So there's only really 4 different archetypes, and then there's small variations between those 4 different archetypes between that and the other classes. With Naraka, it's even less so because it's a battle royale. You're working off the weaponry that you're picking up and just using special powers. With this, the characters fight completely different. Their vertical, horizontal slashes are sometimes completely different. The way they defend is sometimes completely differently. Their uses in the battlefield are completely different. And I have very rarely met a third-person, games of service fighter like this that is able to do that with such uniqueness. I feel like every one of these character classes is just a completely different beast on the battlefield. And that's really nice. It's really cool and interesting. And I thought that was a lot of fun. Which brings me to the next thing, because we're doing a lot of synergy here. Because this would be hard to master without some good tutorials, and this has some great tutorials. From the initial tutorial that you start in, that teaches you all the basics of the game, you can then go in and play every one of these characters, even the characters you don't have unlocked. And they will take you through everything you can do with those characters. And even better yet, it doesn't lock you out of force ones. What it does is it'll put you in an arena. You'll start moving through each thing that they ask you to do, a section. It'll be 17 different sections of the moves that you do with these people. And if once you understand the move but you haven't done it the number of times, you can just skip it, move on to the next one. The tutorials are amazing in this. They teach you the characters. They teach you how to do their moves as fast and efficiently as they can. Love it. Plus, you can play this tutorial while you're still in matchmaking, waiting to be jumped into another game. Awesome. Great. So I'm constantly boning up on what I need to be doing in a fight. Love that. But we have to move to the cons now. And the con number 1 with a bullet is the microtransaction bullshit. And I am not even just talking about spending money on microtransactions. I'm talking about all of the things that you have to click and claim and refresh and grab and currencies. It is exhausting. It is on the level of Naraka, if not more. Not only does it have a battle pass war level sort of thing that you have to level up, but it also has this map that you have to move across on that battle pass. And while you're doing that, you also have to investigate sections of the map, which takes you to a battle mini-game, this little mini strategic mini-game thing that has literally energy points like a mobile game to unlock more stuff of that. But we're not done there. There's also 3 events going at all times, and each one of those events has different currencies, their own battle passes that you have to claim. So like between each match, you're coming out and going through 6 different menus, clicking on claim this reward, claim this reward, claim this reward, claim. It is mind-bogglingly frustrating and annoying. I'm so irritated with it. I hope that I captured some of it so that I can show you some of it, because it is super irritating. That, however, coupled with... I kind of understand why some of this stuff is here, because for whatever reason, even though this game has a big player count, its queue times are pretty high. I played on 2 different nights, and both times I was hitting like 2 to 3 minute queue times, which are kind of ridiculous for a game with a high player count. So I'm not exactly sure what was going on about that. Maybe it was just the matchmaking is really strict or something. But I will say this, if you're planning on playing this game, you're going to want, much like Naraka, you're going to want about 3 minutes of just waiting for the next game to start. Which is a little bit more irritating here, because Naraka, you're playing a battle royale where you've got like 60 people in there, and it is a lot longer of a playtime, whereas this is always a battle arena sort of thing, 2 sides fighting each other, and it's never going to be quite as long as those kind of big battle royale stuff. So that's a little frustrating, a little irritating. It's not enough to make me stop playing it, but it was surprised by how big it was. And then finally, my last one, this is nitpicky because I know this is a crux of a game, and this is something I didn't define in the opener, but this game weirdly has this kind of mechanic that's very much like Battlefront. If you guys remember the Star Wars kind of battle arena multiplayer thing, where after you collect, I think you get one right off the bat, and then after you collect enough kills or points or whatever, what you could do is you can transform into what they call, I think it's like deities or gods or something. There's 4 of them. Each with their own powers or whatever that are like superhuman strong to get these big like kill streaks or whatever. I hate these. I wish they weren't in the game. And I know that a lot of people probably going to get mad at me because I think the crux of this game, I think a lot of this game was kind of engineered for these transformations. But I like the strategic fighting so much better. I feel like people they either rely on these transformations as crutches, or what they do is they save them for incredibly strategic moments, and then all 4 of them will pop at the same time, and it's super frustrating. And I'm not saying that because I've lost to it. I don't necessarily mind losing to it. It just overbalances the game. You have these like transformations that are hyper powerful, that can kill tons of people, can heal tons of people, that can totally change the turns of battle. One of the cooler things about this game that's kind of ruined by this is the fact that like at the end of the match, it highlights one player, and it's like, this is the best play of the game, kind of like an Overwatch thing. It's almost like 90% of the matches that I've played, it's been these transformation things where they just turn into this guy on a horse who just rides through the field spinning a spear, and just like 70 people die. It's not fun to watch. It's not cool. It's not strategic. Whereas the half of the maybe 2 or 3, the handful of times that I've seen like an MVP drop, and it's not one of these transformations, you can really see somebody like strategically working for a double, triple kill award with just their base character, and those are way more cooler. The transformations just get in the way, in my opinion, of some clean, awesome fighting in this one, and I gotta give it the proverbial down from me on that, because I just don't like them. I didn't like them in Battlefront. I certainly don't like them now. So that's it. Am I going to stick with it? I think I am for a little bit. I don't know if I'll stick with it long term. I don't know if it'll be something that I play for the long haul. We'll have to see. But I am enjoying my time with it, and I'm enjoying jumping into it. But did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? You guys decide. You comment in the comments below, or you contact me on Facebook at OmegaMeDH, on Twitter at OmegaMe9. You can join our Discord, links in the description below. Influence this and all of our shows from there. You guys keep watching this, and we'll keep making them.